All right, today we are going to take a look at Xavien Howard. He's one of the top young corners in the league. He's a guy whose name is just kind of starting to get around there. Now, a lot of people don't quite know who he is yet. He's just kind of starting to break out. Does some things really well. Does some things that a lot of other guys aren't going to do. Some of the top guys aren't going to do. But definitely has some flaws. Has some issues within his game. And we'll see a little bit of both of those today as we look at Xavien Howard, number 25 for the Dolphins, in his Week 3 matchup against the Oakland Raiders. So starting here with the first play, he is up top right there. He's going to stay on top of Cooper's route to the outside. Ball goes another direction on him now. Okay, I said he wasn't perfect in this game. Definitely some things to be really excited about, but some flaws as well. And here we go. Here's a flaw early in this game. Okay, watch number 28 here. Watch what he does. He's tapping his butt there. All right. Now, I'm on the Dolphins meetings. I don't know 100% for sure. All right. But what makes sense here is he's tapping his butt on the left-hand side, telling on his inside cheek, basically, telling Howard, you have the guy who releases to the inside, right? He's hitting there saying, you have the inside. And he's going to take the outside release. Since these two guys are stacked, playing straight man on them can lead to picks, can lead to problems. So getting them stacked and stacking the defensive backs who are covering them allows them to avoid those picks. Here he's communicating, all right, since there's two guys here, he's saying, hey, you take the inside releaser, I'll take the outside releaser. All right, and the reason I believe he is doing that is because nobody takes the inside releaser. Seems highly likely to me that this guy will tap and tell Howard what to do, and then the guy who made the call is going to screw it up. That would be a huge screw up on his part. Seems more likely that Howard wasn't paying attention, didn't see the call, something along those lines. So it's a miscommunication, which, at the end of the day falls on both of them, but it's going to be an issue, a problem for Howard here. All right, so we see the inside release. All right, and nobody's covering it. Now, one good thing here, Howard didn't quit on the play. That's one thing you really notice about this guy. The more and more you watch him, he does not quit. He takes what we call the home run angle. All right, he's taking that angle to prevent the touchdown. He's not the guy that ends up pushing him out of bounds, but he's taking that angle to make sure that thing isn't going to turn into a touchdown. Just because there was an error at the beginning doesn't mean it to turn it into a touchdown. You don't give up on plays, especially an athletic guy like that who has the ability to make a play way downfield. So that's a bad way to start, but a good play at the end. He's doing some great effort stuff there. Does a good job running that down. Now we're going to follow that up. So he's not gonna tank here, which for a corner is huge. You can't get into a rut. You can't start getting beat and then get defeated because you're toast. You're done. Watch film of Steve Smith when he was playing. Steve Smith would wear guys down over the course of the game. He would beat them up, and he would make plays at clutch time. He would get inside of their heads. You can't do that. You can't have that reaction. You've got to be able to bounce back, forget about the previous play. So here he is up on the top of the screen, becomes the short side of the formation. So there's an actually receiver over there, and he's actually going to have run responsibility on the outside out here. Okay, he's got run responsibility on the outside. He's thinking about that run. All right, and the ball is going to be run. Pulling guard comes around to block Howard. Now, this guard, this is Gabe Jackson. He is 336 pounds. All right, and Howard is not 336 pounds. This is a huge mismatch. And if Howard tries to really take this guy on, he tries to get off this block, he's going to get killed. He's either going to be put down right away, or he's going to end up in the bleachers way out there. All right. So either way, it's no good. All right. The other thing is, hey, can he win with speed? Maybe he can. Okay. Can he get in there and can he win with speed on the play? That is a risky proposition. All right. Because he's the only guy out there. If he gets in there, and gets past him with speed, but for whatever reason can't make the tackle on Lynch. Lynch cuts it back. Lynch bounces it outside of him, whatever it is. If he does that now, he's essentially blocked himself. He's taken himself out of the play, put himself in the backfield, all right, and let Lynch get by. But Additionally, his blocker is unaccounted for. Okay, so now he's gone. He's blocked himself. The guy who was supposed to block him, he's out there looking for work. So Lynch is on the run with a 330-pound guard in front of him, blocking the first guy that comes to him. That's a touchdown. All right, if he does that and he screws that up, touchdown for sure. All right, but what he does, how he reacts here, he cuts that polar. All right, what that does is that shows him the outside, that puts him down, that crosses enough problems out here that Lynch has to cut the thing back inside to Howard's teammates. And we get a good look at it here from the tight angle, and I'm going to slow it down once we get started here. All right. He comes in, and I did not slow that down. All right. But he's going to come in from the edge. He's going to cut that polar. All right. Kind of disregard how the linebackers are playing. Linebacker, wouldn't even block in there. All right, he outreaches it a little bit. Either way, it's going to make that thing cut back. That thing can't go outside now, and they've eliminated that polar from the problem. He's done his job to keep it inside, and the other 10 players on the field need to step up and make a play. All right, so real good job on that. That's a tough physical play, something that's not going to get you on any highlight films. You're not going to get any stats. You're not even getting the tackle on that. You're not winning any awards for plays like that. But it's a really tough, really unselfish play by him, doing something that he gets nothing out of, and where he's likely to have a 330-pounder landed on his back. Great play, awesome play by him. Now Howard is on the bottom of the screen right here. All right. Again, he's following Cooper around. Okay. And that's something we're going to see. It's a little different than the other guys we've looked at. He actually follows the top receiver on the opponent's team, follows them around. Doesn't go into the slot, but he'll go with them and play them on the outside. So he's got Cooper here. Cooper's got an outside wide release. All right. Carr looks it off real quick, works the other direction. They've got something in the seam there. All right. But Howard stays on top of this route by Cooper and does a good job at that. Unfortunately, it leads to a touchdown because of what's going on the other side of the formation. Second drive. All right, we're going to get a quick screen down here. All right. He plays this pretty well. He stays to the outside. He's disciplined with it. I like to see him react to it a little bit quicker. He's got kind of a wide step here. He's a great athlete, and he does some iffy things technique-wise and makes some bad reads sometimes, but he's a good enough athlete that he pulls it off. Here's a situation, just as we look at him, he just gets a little bit wide. I'm going to slow this down. All right, he kicks back, and then he kicks back again with the same foot. That kind of gets him a little bit wide. It's a little bit tough for him to transition, so he doesn't really get going fast enough to get there in front of that blocker. But he does. He shows in the outside. He makes sure that it gets kicked back to the inside where one of his teammates can make a play on it. So, not a bad job. I just like to see him react a little faster and be able to transition it a little bit quicker to get in there and get involved with it. All right. So, before we talked about a play where he was a run player, here he's really not. He's out here. He's on this receiver. He's got to be thinking coverage first in this situation. So we're going to watch the receiver here. Now, this is a run play. All right. But how do we know it's a run play? You don't know when the ball is handed off because it could be a flea flicker. It can be a running back pass. It can, do all kinds of crazy stuff like that. It could be something different. It could be a play action. Maybe you thought he has the ball in his hand. But he doesn't, okay? So as the corner, he needs to keep his eyes on this blocker, all right? And he needs to only react, only fill in the run when he is physically blocked on by this receiver or the ball crossed the line of scrimmage. Here, both those things happen right about the same time. But right now, when this receiver blocks on him physically, it can no longer be a pass. Okay, he's blocking me physically like that. He's downfield. That's illegal. You can't do that and then go out for a pass. Whereas just a moment ago, I'll slow this down, but as we watch the receiver, he's coming out here. Looks like he's going to stock block, but is he a receiver that doesn't want to block, or is he a receiver that's faking like he is blocking? So right there, hey, he could pick it up real quick and get going. It could be a little stop and go, little stalk and go situation there. All right. So you got to be sure. Now, once he knows, he maintains his outside contain. He's the secondary contain player. Stays outside of that receiver. All right, maintaining the position there. Gets up there. Gets involved, dives to the knees, and gets the tackle on that. All right, so that's a pretty good job there. Okay, again, at the bottom of the screen, we're getting the inside run. All right, waiting, not reacting to anything right away because we're not being physically blocked on. Top of the screen. All right, there's the receiver right there. Cooper motioned away, so he's on this guy, stays on top of the route. All right, they shoot it out to Cooper. You're going to see that all the time. When they motion guys motioning at the snap, the ball's going to him and he's running it out. All right, that's almost all the time. They're trying to get him with some speed, get him in some space. All right, push that defensive back is covering him in a tough position. That guy rallies to it, though. But that's what happens a lot of times with this stuff. So he's going to stay on top of that route. He's in pretty good position on that. All right, for what they're asking him to do. All right, next one's going to be a run. We're going to skip that. I don't need to see too many of these runs unless they show us something specifically. All right. Again, we have a stack situation here. He's on the top. All right, here he does match up. Okay, ball goes away on that. Now he's going to be in straight man here. All right, so here we're getting a little bit of a different look. He's at the top, and really more kind of a cover two look. He is going to drop off on it. Being aware of that guy in the flat, but also just reading the quarterback on there. Okay, and there's a run, and then he's out. So we're going to skip along to the next drive, and it's going to be a quick one. All right, he's at the top of the screen here. Okay, it appears to be like a quarter half look. He's going to be a deep field player here. All right, stays running with it, stays to the outside on it. All right, plays that, and then look, they throw up a ball. Cooper stops running. Howard doesn't, and he ends up coming down with that. Probably going to see a little bit better actually from the tight angle here. Okay, so he's running outside of that. He sees that ball in the air. He's going. He's tracking it down. He's turning into an outfielder in this. I mean, really, because it was a pop fly, basically. All right, and he's coming down with that thing. So, again, not giving up on the play. Going out there, getting it, shows his athleticism and shows he doesn't quit on plays. Top of the screen. All right, we're rocking and rolling here. It's going to be a cover one look. All right, stays on top of that. Showing he's got some good hips staying on top of that route. Okay, bottom, they motion the receiver away. Run comes, sets the edge. All right, again, he's got a guy pulling off for him there. There he kind of rips off it and takes it, and he sets a good, strong edge there. Okay, again, looks like a cover two look here. He's dropping off underneath it. We're already in the second quarter, and it gets us to the second drive here in the second quarter. All right, at the bottom, playing loose, cover one. All right, we got the in-cutting route, and he breaks on it. All right, again, Looks like Cooper's getting a little bit lazy on this. All right, but he breaks on that upfield shoulder. He's in position. If that ball's coming to it, he's going to have an effect on that play. Either hitting Cooper right away, hopefully getting his hands on it. But that's a good job and a good break on that. Once again, at the bottom here, playing loose. All right, breaks now on that little screen and looking to set the edge, maintain outside leverage on that. Okay, we're going to skip this reverse here. Nothing really happens that involves him on that. Up top. Okay. So good hips, good little transition up there. Again, we're up top here. Moves his feet, puts stuff right on the hip in there. Okay, he's playing with outside leverage because he does have some help with his cover one. He's got some help on the inside. All right, and doing a good job running with that. Again at the top. Up and man. All right, to release outside. Like now he's going to get the hand. All right, bringing his inside hand on that outside release. Helps him to open up his hip. Gets it right on him. All right, on the bottom here. Looks like a cover two look. Sees that wheel coming around. All right, and starts to drop off on it. We're going to skip a couple here. Up top. Gets the run. Looks to get in there and get involved. Just, showing he's physical. He's not going to sit back there. He's not the stereotype of a defensive back or a corner, especially that doesn't want to hit, that doesn't want to be involved in things. He's going to go up there. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty or be physical. He likes being physical. He's definitely a physical player. On the bottom here, he's actually man on this tight end. Don't love the bicycle turn. Especially in that situation, you don't really need to with the tight end. He wasn't really pushing him that much. But he does a good job when he flips his hips around quickly. Bicycle turn, also sometimes called a speed turn. All right, that's where you're turning your body basically all the way around. Like this guy's cutting, you should be cutting straight. You should, as a defensive back, looking at the formation. The formation's to the right. He's cutting to the left, to your left, to the outside. You should be cutting to your left. Here he gets his hips turned to the inside, to the right, and ends up turning all the way around, like basically 360 degrees, coming back with it. I mean, you don't need to do it. It means you turned your hips the wrong way in the first place. It'd be faster just to turn your hips the right direction. So that's a bicycle turn or a speed turn. If you have perfect technique, you don't need it. So that's why I don't love it, because I don't like the idea of practicing something or teaching something, of knowing a technique for when you screw up. I prefer to just not screw up. All right, get a little bit of pick action here. Here on the bottom. All right, but matches up well with it. Stays in pretty good position. Fights through to get into that, and really he's the one being picked. They're trying to work on the outside, but he fights through to that position. All right, so we're going to skip forward to the next drive, which is actually the second half. They get the ball for like 2 plays at the end of the half. But the next real drive, when they're actually trying to do something, they're actually trying to score, comes here in the second half. Top of the screen. All right. He's playing off. They throw the little quick route there because he's playing off. You want to come up on that, and you can be aggressive. You just got to make sure that they're not getting by you. Here, he doesn't really do either. He's not aggressive with it, and he still gets juked. He still lets this guy get by him. Gets up there, gets danced around with, ends up diving at him. It doesn't get too much more on that, but keep your feet moving, keep your feet chopping, read his hips, and get up there and make a tackle. Don't get juked on that stuff. Up on the top, getting the post and cover run. I mean, that guy runs right into the cover to the safety. The safety's right there. For Howard, he's in good position. He's maintaining that outside leverage because he's got safety help inside. Tempo right to the hip, right on it. That's bracketed just about as well as a post route can be bracketed. All right, again on the top, right up there. Getting back, kind of letting things sort out. Nothing's really pushing him deep. All right, so he's going to stay on top of that route. No reason to fly out of there when nothing's coming. You get to a certain depth. It varies a little bit system to system. In the NFL, where guys are faster, it's probably going to be a little bit deeper than it is in some colleges. But you get to a certain depth, and you just chill if you're not getting pushed. You can keep kind of working a little bit back because there's a chance that something could come in from a neighboring zone. But you don't want to fly out of there and take yourself out of helping out on the play underneath. All right, 2nd and 4 here. He is up at the top. All right. Go with his hips and his eyes. All right, but turn it a little bit quick there. And now we're giving up too much space when we're playing loose like that. Sometimes, when it goes to that out cutting route, he wants to cut down that space a little bit. He could stay on top of it, prevent from the double moves and everything. But right there was a good, good amount of room there for them to throw that ball in there. All right, so just don't get out of there too fast. Be patient with it, especially when you're fast. You can afford to be patient when you're fast. Some of us don't have that luxury. All right, I like the way he fights this block here. Yep, he didn't like getting blocked. He didn't like people putting his hands on him. That aggression is definitely something you want to see. He isn't like this. He's going to fight it. The ball cuts inside. He's trying to get in there and get involved with it. Up top again. All right, gets up in his press. Not in great position right away, not really set. All right, but he's still okay. He looks pretty good with his hips here. I don't love how he's got this inside foot so far in. The inside foot's a little above the outside foot here. And if this was an inside release, he's gonna have trouble keeping up with it. All right, but he does a good job in the transition. All right, gets his eyes right to him. Now we want to cut down this horizontal space, get right there on his hip. All right, he ends up getting into a pretty good position there. But again, now he's kind of running a little bit past him. We see that with him where sometimes he opens up stuff where he could get cut inside on, underneath on, because he's kind of overrunning things. He didn't need to do that, and he needs to show more patience with it because he's fast. He can do that. He has the luxury of doing that, and that's going to cut out the underneath stuff. Everybody gets worried about getting burned deep, and that's bad, but it's bad to get burned anywhere. Underneath, side to side, what have you. Any way you look at it, it's not good. And when you get that speed, you can slow it down, you can relax, and you can make all these plays. Up top, right there in the 20, inside release, he's right in his hip pocket, right in his upfield shoulder there. That's an excellent job. All right, he is up top here again. All right. So he's going to relax back there again. Now the run action's going away from him. It breaks. He's got a home run, but he's got to relax and look for any kind of throwback, anybody sneak out to the backside or boot action coming there. All right, when that run action goes away, that's the first thing you got to be thinking about before you start to run that thing down. Up top. All right, turns hips, sits on it. Here's that throwback we were talking about. So here, he's up top. He's going to cover this thing. He's running over the top of all the mesh, of all the gunk. He stays with it, fights with it to get back in position. Nobody covers the back. This is a man look. Nobody's covering the back. This is the sort of thing we were talking about, though. If they were in zone, as they were before with that action coming, he'd have to be there to fall off on that. Not his responsibility in this case. Just an example of something to be aware of. Up top. All right. Decent little mirror. He looks to the quarterback a little bit fast, though, right? I mean, like right away, he's stepping with that receiver. All right. But, the receiver acts like the play's not coming to him. And then Howard acts like the play's not going to him, which, that's not good. As a defender, you don't really know that. You don't know that could be one of those things. You're just going to stand up there for a second. And, once Howard stops, now all of a sudden he's running to the corner of the end zone. They're throwing something up there. It's a jump ball situation. So, got to stay on top of that stuff. All right, so this is a great one here. He's right here at the top of formation. No receivers out there. It is a short yardage goal line situation. Look at him getting up there and getting involved. I mean, it's a futile effort. Lynch scores the touchdown. Either way, but love the effort. Love that he's trying to be physical. That he's not giving up on it. It's 3rd and 1 on the goal line, and he's trying to do something to impact the play that isn't going to come to him, and really isn't his play to make. But there's nothing hurts here. That's a good job by him getting one over there and looking to try, to try to get something done, try to get involved in it. Down at the bottom now. Tight on the receiver. Looks like you cover one look here. Eyes, turns hips. Good job staying on the release. Again, still a little high on it, which I don't love. On the bottom, he bails out, gets to the deep field zone. Looks like he has some version of quarter half, or a deep thirds coverage with the other corner stand down to the boundary. Either way, those two things work in a fairly similar manner. You got a 3 deep zone, but here, look at me. He's moving around just like he normally does when he's pressed, and he does a good job of bailing out here and getting in that zone. Uses speed. He's selling one thing there, and now he's bailing out. And if he had lined up way off, Carr probably would have seen it pre-snap. He would have known he had this throw down here. All right, but now it doesn't get to it, and it gives that backward time to get out there and help out with that. He is up top right now. We got Cooper as the number 1 receiver out there. Cooper's going to run the slant, all right, stemming to the outside. And here we go. Howard bites to the outside, opens his hips pretty fast. All right, but now he fights back to it, and he does a real good job with that. He fights back to it, doesn't give up on the play. Cooper's rolling around on the ground there, missed the catch, and he's rolling around on the ground. But Howard's not giving up on it. And we see here, he comes in. All right. He comes in, and maybe he's a touch early. I don't know. I don't make those calls. Better than being touched late. That's all I know. But he comes in, and he's using his his inside arm. All right. We call that the on hand. So with his on hand, all right, left hand, you can't really see it very well here. He's securing the tackle. He's making sure if this ball is caught, he's not getting another yard. And with his right hand, which is outside or offhand, that one is a little bit more clear to see. I mean, it's this big blurry white thing here. He's coming around and looking to make a play, get his hand on the ball. All right, that ball is incomplete, and the Raiders are punting. So really good play by him. He bit on it right away. Obviously, we don't like that. That's not what I want to see. But he came back. He kept fighting. He came back to it. And that brings us into the fourth quarter. Up on the top of the screen, getting tight, pressing. A decent little mirror. Kind of looked like he could have worked back to the inside there. The receiver could have. All right, so want to prevent that. Want to make sure we're being patient, staying on that inside hip. All right, but not bad on the release there. Here in the bottom, we're going to see another example of that. He wants to be patient, make sure he is using his eyes. Right away, we're going to see on the release. All right, good patience. Looking at the receiver, where is he looking at? We should be looking at his hips. Not really sure on that, and he keeps kind of working past him. All right, this receiver stops. The corner shouldn't stop. All right, his feet shouldn't stop, but he should stop moving upfield too. All right, because now all of a sudden, look, the receiver's in better position. He's in better position to block him too. So you can't, you got to keep moving your feet, but not move past the guy. Fourth quarter, 11:06. And we get a first down here, playing on the bottom and getting matched up with that route. Okay. Ignoring that little underneath guy. All right, presumably the linebacker's going to be responsible for that. Staying on top of that deeper route. At the bottom. All right. So he gets his hand on him. Okay. But he gives up the inside release. Okay. So the receiver does a little jump to the outside here. We're going to play this nice and slow. Okay. The receiver's going to do a little bit of a jump to the outside. And here we go with where he's susceptible to inside cuts. The receiver jumps to the outside. Excuse me. I think I might have said that wrong a second ago. Jumps to the outside. What does Howard do? He starts to play it like an outside release. Doesn't really get his hips opened up, but he does use his inside or left arm to strike him. What that does is it does two things. If this is an outside release, that really helps you to bring your legs around. If you're where your left arm goes, if you think about like if you're throwing a punch, you step into it with that same leg. You're gonna have a lot of power. You're gonna like kind of whip yourself around doing something like that. So, you do that, it opens up your hips to move in that direction. But, try throwing a punch with your left arm and then stepping to the left basically with your right leg. It doesn't really work. That arm is locked out your hips to move to the inside. So that puts him in a tough position here. We're going to keep playing it slow. Comes back, hops around a little bit. So it's slow to transition, all right, because his hips were locked out. And he fights back and keeps playing. But guess what? There was an opportunity to throw that ball there. If they got that completion, they could rack that. They could put him in a good spot. But he got some help from his D-line on that one, which is the number one thing that helps out a defensive backfield is a good defensive line, guys that put pressure on the quarterback. That'll make you look good as a DB. That'll make you look good as a DB's coach, having a good D-line. Up top, being real patient with it. All right, and sitting on that route. Again, we just see, good feet, chopping his feet, stay on top. Pretty good job all around there. Gonna skip a couple of run plays here where we don't really see too much. All right, stick on this drive though. Still in the fourth quarter. Third down play. He is at the bottom. It's third and long. All right, so we'll focus on the bottom here. Okay, again, now we're stemming here. Trying to stay to the inside. He stays with it, opens his hips for the outside release. Has his eyes on the man, but where? Are they on his hips? Now he's kind of trying to overreact. We see him kind of getting a little crazy there. We get a little, get rid of this thing. All right, he gets a little bit of a stutter step there. Look at how wide his feet are. He's trying to stay with it, trying to run to the other end zone already, right? You got to be patient with it. You got to keep your eyes on your hips. You can do that. You have that benefit when you are fast, and he is fast. This guy can move. All right, so keep your eyes on his hips. All right, so now that gets this guy all off balance. All right, that gets Howard all off balance. All right, we see him kind of leaning back. He's trying to be all crazy in the way he adjusts to it, like we've seen him do in the past when he gets himself in bad position. All right, and the receiver gets going again real quick. Stumbling from Howard, fights back, keeps going, and he's fortunate that nothing really comes out of that. All right, so a really good drive here coming up, where we're going to see some good stuff, especially early on here. Down at the bottom of the screen once again. All right, good with the hips and eyes. Now again, turns to the inside and is forced a bicycle turn. But flips it around real quick, gets into pretty good position on that, giving him more space that I'm really comfortable with. All right, but he fixes himself pretty well, and he's pretty effective with that bicycle turn. So, that's something as a coach I would try to prevent him from doing what put him in the situation to have to use the bicycle turn. But I'm not going to coach the bicycle turn out of him because it's working for him. He's able to figure it out. You don't want to overcoach guys, especially DBs, especially really fast guys. You don't want them thinking. When you have to make sudden movements, when you have to be really fluid and fast in your movement, you don't want people thinking too much because thinking makes you slow. All right, thinking in your head makes you slow with your feet. Really, it's important to have little reads, little things that you're looking for that you can focus on. But you don't want to be thinking about like the whole thing, getting caught up in that, because it definitely slows down your feet. So, having a real strong understanding of technique is something you can do throughout the course of the year. But when they're out there on Sunday, you want that stuff to be automatic. So you don't want to overcoach defensive backs especially, but anybody. You want to be fast and you want to be fluid in their movement. Don't do stuff that's going to make them think too much, because thinking makes you stiff and it makes you slow. All right. All right, so decent with the eyes. Again, turn their hips a little too fast and stay on top of it. And I don't want them that much on top of it. Bottom of the screen once again. Boom, hits with the hand. A good job with that. See, this is how you're supposed to use your hand. It is an outside release. He gets that hand on there, helps to open up his hips and transition. Okay, we are right on the line of scrimmage. It is perfectly legal within that space to be physical, to touch the receiver. Boom, get your hand on him. I don't like that second hand on him that much because I can lock out your hips going to the outside, but that's all right. Running right with him, and now he's running right past him. Now I can see, and you see it all the time with him, that his eyes are on the receiver, but I wonder if his eyes are on his hips. I'd really like to see his eyes on his hips Make sure his eyes are on his hips. So we see, like, look at this receiver right now. You can see him. It looks like he's sitting down, right? That's why you keep your eyes on your hips, because he has to kind of sit down like that in order to make any kind of cut. All right. So if you're patient, you're staying kind of just behind him, and you enough that you can keep your eyes on his hips. You react. His hips go down, your hips go down. And it doesn't matter if it's a stutter. It doesn't matter if it's an in cut, an out cut, a hitch, whatever it is. Keep your feet moving, but move your hips to mirror his, so you're not flying by him. Here he flies by. This shows you he's susceptible to underneath cuts. He's susceptible to a quick, well-timed ball, boom, right into there to that guy. And that's something that could cause him problems. So great at the beginning. Just got to make sure we fix that problem with the eyes. Bottom of the screen, skipped one in here. I'm sorry, I'm going to skip this one too. All right, bottom of the screen. Another bicycle turn situation. Turns his hips too fast. All right, came back around to it. Didn't get his hand on it to make the play or anything, but got there, got involved, was matched up in pretty good position with that. So not bad. Not too bad on that one. Top of the screen. All right, turns his hips again. Don't get in front of him. Now fight to get at that block as that thing comes along. All right, we got a run action going away, and we got a penalty in there, so we're going to skip that stuff, and we're going to come down to the red zone here, and we've got actually Martavis Bryant out here now. Cooper's inside. He comes out to Bryant. We've seen him on Bryant a couple other times. Saw him on Jordan Nelson a little bit too. But for the most part, you're seeing him. He's going. He's not just playing right and left. He's following Cooper around a lot and getting matched up on him. Here he's on Bryant. Bryant doesn't do very much for himself here. He's not trying to stem to the outside. He's not really trying to do anything. He's just kind of trying to run by him and be bigger than him, and that's not working. He's like trying to push on him. I don't know what that is. But look at that. That was a perfect place to pause it. So really, Howard leans on him, puts his shoulder on him, and Bryant, because he didn't give him any kind of space with his release, created a very, very tight window for David Carr to throw the ball in. David Carr does not want to throw the ball out of bounds, so he gets the ball picked off because Howard is in great position. Bryant didn't help him out, and Carr didn't recognize that. And, you blame it on Bryant a little bit, obviously, for not getting himself in better position, running a better route. But we see he turns. As Bryant turns, gets his eyes on the ball, goes up for it. You can turn and look for the ball in man coverage if you have earned it, if you are in good position. And he certainly has. He certainly is right here. All right, way down on the sideline already. Bryant's doing nothing for himself. Put your back on it. Turn. Go up. Boom. Make the play in the contested situation, all right, against a bigger receiver too. Very good, very impressive play from the corner Howard there, all right? So awesome job on that. All right, that's probably the climax of things, but we're just going to look at a couple other plays here on this next drive. He's going to be at the bottom of the screen here. This is the last drive of the game. Flips his hips, gets back. All right, so once again, he's not giving away pre-snap, but he is a deep field player here. Flips his hips, turns, gets back into a back pedal, stays in his deep field zone. Real good job with that. And he was going to be at the top. Whoop. I don't know what I did there. Top of the screen ends up being the last play of the game. All right, they're trying to They're trying to throw the screen there. No, he doesn't come in good control. So we got to see this be better. I mean, who was expecting this play call? To be honest with you, they're trying to set up a field goal that was doomed to fail. He gets up there, reaching too much, right? Take another step, get up there, get involved with it. That blocker's not there for you. That blocker's already taken. Boom, get up there, take another step, make that tackle. He doesn't do it. They end up getting a few more yards on it. Puts the Nugent in position to kick a 52-yard field goal, which is actually good. But they needed more points than that in that situation from the Raiders. So, but this gives them an opportunity to try and do that and try and get it. And that's something that could have been avoided. So, Xavien Howard, guy you're going to hear more and more about, wasn't a big name until recently. Some pretty smart people, had been talking about him. Out there, throughout the draft process, you saw some people were onto him pretty quick. But now he's a guy. He's really starting to stand out and be a guy, and show that he can be a guy who's a shutdown guy in this league. We see that he does some things really, really well, but he also has some problems. So he's got some stuff he's got to work on, but definitely somebody to be aware of, and somebody who certainly could be one of the top corners in this league. Some things you definitely like to see him clean up, but has that skill and really his athletic ability, his desire, his fight, his compete. That's a few different words for the same thing right there. That's kind of what sets him apart, though. He does a great job with those things, and he's not going to be out because he's fast enough and he works hard enough, and he wants to win enough that he puts himself in a good position to be successful. All right, so that's it for this game. We'll be looking at another one coming up next week. See what we have for week 4. We'll get that one figured out. Be one of the top corners. See how those games go, how they shake down. That'll be coming to my YouTube station here on Defensive Back Breakdowns. You can check out my additional content on Cincy Jungle, SB Nation. You can follow me on Twitter at Coach Minich, CoachMinicH. And there you will find all of my content, everything that I do, I put up there. I also do some work for Pulp Report and the gruelingtruth.net. So be sure to check out all that stuff. Definitely good content from more people than just me on those sites and those avenues.